Hey there, Cozy Babe, and welcome back to the Cozy Babes Club. In today's episode, we are discussing all things getting back into healthy habits, especially for summer. I feel like we are peak in our summer season right now. It may not look like it if you're watching the video and you can see the podcast set. It may not look like summer. We're definitely giving summer ween energy. To those of you not watching the podcast, I do apologize. I will try to do my best to explain it to you. We are in an autumnal setting. We've got leafies everywhere. We've got a fall tree in the back. We've got our fireplace going. It is the complete package, the complete vibe, and we are giving summer ween energy, okay? This episode, I really want to focus on just helping you to re-embrace healthier habits, maybe inspiring some of you to get back into following your plan and not your mood all the time, and just really talking about how I have kind of embraced a new season of life, following healthier habits and taking better care of myself, especially physically. I feel like if you're somebody that struggles with a workout routine, nutrition, and just things in that genre, this is just really going to be the episode for you to get you re-inspired. What really sparked this episode was actually, if y'all watched last week's, first of all, I just need to take a brief moment to say, anybody who watched that episode, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I watched it back just this week because it was filmed weeks ago. And I watched it back recently and I was like, Chloe, what is this audio quality? The plosives are so bad. So we're bringing in the professional setup back into what we do because I can do better than that. And thank y'all for bearing with me as I was recovering from breaking my ankle about 5 weeks ago now. Just as a brief update on that, I have made a full recovery. I am back up running, literally doing workout girl things, and I feel 100% back to normal. So thank you so much for those of you that really embraced that story with me and that season of my life. I feel like it really sparred this episode on. And something else that I'm so excited to be announcing to all of you is that the podcast now, and some of you saw it, and that's actually what brought this episode is on my website, chloetaylor.com. I actually launched a little section that's called Ask Chloe. We might change the header of that as we kind of feel this part of the podcast out. And not every episode is going to focus on this, but I'm going to start adding segments to our podcast where I am just giving y'all advice. You can leave your name anonymous in the advice category, but basically you can write in to my podcast and ask me to give you advice on situations or advice on topics, things that really interest you. And I'm so excited. I hope you'll use it. I will leave a link for it down below for all future episodes. And I want to read to you today the first letter that we've received. Some of y'all are sneaky and look at my website and found it before I could even announce it. And I was like, okay, we're just going to start using this immediately. And even before we announced it, somebody wrote in. Dear Chloe, first off, I just want to say how much I love your podcast. Your energy and authenticity are so inspiring. Thank you. I'm reaching out because I've been struggling with creating a healthier lifestyle and more positive relationship with movement and food. I've heard you talk about self-love and wellness before, and I'd love to know how you've managed to shift your mindset and find joy in staying active and eating well. I often find myself stuck in old habits like late night snacking or feeling unmotivated to move, and I'm not sure where to start in making a real change. Any advice you have on how to begin this journey would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for all that you do. With gratitude, a hopeful listener. Obviously, as you can imagine, when I got this letter in my inbox, I was like, we have to tackle this immediately because I feel like you, dear listener, are someone that is really in a similar situation that I found myself in. And as I stated, breaking my ankle and then recovering really sparred this whole thing on inside of me, where I will never take walking for granted ever again in my life. Like the amount of mental fulfillment I get out of moving my body when I was forced to have to sit down and never move for about 3.5 weeks, I will never take that for granted again. So take it from someone who has been there, who has been unable to move. Moving your body actually is such a gift. And that's the first point that I want to make. And I know For some of y'all that haven't gone through that or you haven't had a similar experience, it might be hard to think of movement as a joyful activity. But I feel like what I really came to realize is even small movements I was taking for granted, like being able to get up from bed and go to the bathroom without needing crutches or an office chair to support me. Being able to make my own breakfast, get up and just put something together in the kitchen, being able to, on a whim, go and grab my cat from another room and carry him into the bedroom with me. Like, just little things like that, I feel like it was just like such an eye opening experience that I couldn't do those things. So I would say, even on like a small level, day to day movement is such a gift that many people do not have. And I think that gave me such a deeper appreciation for movement in general, but actually getting movement in a very like physical, active way. Something that I've come to realize is that movement really affects mental health. And this is something I have been knowing for a really long time, that whenever I have bouts of generalized anxiety or I'm feeling some type of way, one of the number one tools that actually helps me to feel better is sweating. So I know it's like I am the number one person. I used to tell y'all on my podcast all the time that I don't consent to sweat, that I think sweating is gross. It's why I choose swimming, because I'm a sweat like naturally. Chloe Taylor, I'm going to tell you a secret about myself, okay? I am a very sweaty girl. Like, even if I'm not moving a whole bunch, I always have like sweat under my armpits, even if I'm not exerting myself. I always am sweating a little bit. My hands right now, even though I'm not like activated in any kind of way, I'm just chilling here, my hands are sweaty. Like, I always have, like, I don't know if this is something that like my family genetics just have. So I feel like it's very easy to make myself sweat. Like, if I'm working out, I will be sweating within 20 minutes, hardcore. Even if I'm just walking, I will be drenched. And I used to tell y'all I don't consent to sweat. So the only thing I'm doing is swimming in a pool, because even if I'm sweating, I can't feel it. All that sweat is, I know this sounds disgusting, but like the sweat is getting washed away by all the water. So I have actually come to find, now that I've been a lot more active and I've had to like rehabilitate my ankle and not learn to walk, but like just getting more steps in and like letting my ankle like slowly lead the way with that. I have realized that I actually kind of love the feeling of being done with a workout and being drenched in sweat. It actually feels really good. And they always say, I don't know who they is, I don't know who the original creator of the quote is, but it's like salt water heals, whether it is tears, sweat, or the ocean, salt water heals. And I really believe that, because when you sweat, you're also releasing a lot of salt in your sweat. I really feel like it feels like whatever anxiety I've been holding on to or whatever I've been stressed out about, it just kind of dissipates. And I feel this like surge of happy chemicals, which we do receive from working out. And that's something that I have just grown to really fall in love with over the past couple of weeks. Is now that I've been able to move more, I'm not taking things as for granted as I was before. It feels like such a gift to be able to walk. It's been like a dramatic change of, I guess, like a dramatic change of mindset. And so I would encourage you to try to find the joy in movement for yourself. Your situation isn't going to be as dramatic as mine was, most likely. But if you are somebody that you don't like working out, you tell yourself all the reasons you hate it, you tell yourself all the things that you can't do, I would encourage you to, I actually have a few points on this. Find something that you really, really, really like. Because here's the thing. If you at one time in your life, let's say that you were really into running, okay? And you ran, it kept your like health goals consistent with what you were wanting. Let's say that that was you at one time. You were in high school, okay? And you were a runner, you were on track. You maybe have built up the ideology in your life that you have to be a runner. Or maybe at one time in your life, you were, for lack of better words here, a skinny legend, and you accomplished that by sweating in the gym multiple hours a day, every day of the week. You will convince yourself that that is the only way that you can take care of your physical fitness. When in reality, It actually doesn't take that much. You don't have to do it how you've always done it. There are multiple, probably hundreds of thousands of people that keep their health goals in check by or keep their like health in check by doing things differently. By there are so many people, there is such a large community of people that keep their like health in check or their health goals in check by just walking, by simply just walking. And anybody who tells you different on that is full of crap. Walking has been known to help multiple things. Like, I know it's good for heart health. It's good for respiratory health. It is good for your mental health. And I'm pretty sure it's also known to be good for like digestion. So it's good for like your gut health too, because it helps you to digest food. And it's also, I think I said mental health, but like it's good for your brain. So we can't be out here telling people that like just doing walking isn't enough, because there are also so many people that don't do that. And if one person that doesn't really decide to move or work on their physical health hears that, they're going to go, oh, walking doesn't really matter. I have to do these crazy things. Or maybe in the past, like I said, you had this identity of you had to do X, Y, and Z, and you knew that that worked. There are so many different ways to do it, bestie. So allow yourself the freedom of finding something you actually like to do. And I promise you, there is something for everyone. I used to be the person that was like, nope, I don't consent to sweat. I hate working out. I don't like it. I don't know why anybody does it. There is something for everyone. For me, I really took to swimming early on in trying to figure out my health goals and like how I wanted to manage them. And swimming was a saving grace for me. Now I've gotten really into walking, and that has been a saving grace for me. So I feel like that number one is your mindset can shift. If you're doing something you absolutely hate, stop. Do something, try something new, try a new form of working out. The other thing I want to say is if there is something that you tell yourself that you can't do, even if you don't currently do it, romanticize it. I am the queen of doing this. I have told y'all multiple times on the podcast, if I have an activity that I don't like doing, like I always give the example of washing the car, because even though I actually think car washes are kind of fun, I just think if you do it routinely, it might become mundane and boring for someone, or maybe you hate washing the car, okay? Whether it's getting it washed or doing it in your driveway. I always give the example of if I hated washing the car, I would make a day of it. I would go, you know what? I'm going to put my favorite comfortable outfit on. I'm going to do my hair in its favorite style. I am going to wear my favorite socks. I'm going to make myself my favorite breakfast. I'm going to then go to my favorite coffee shop and I'm going to get my favorite beverage, whatever that is. And then I am going to take myself through the car wash, play my favorite playlist, which is always I'm That Girl in a 2000s rom-com. Those are like my favorite songs. Give me Hoku Perfect Day every day of the week. And that is how I'm going to derive pleasure from the experience of getting my car washed, even if I hated doing it. This works the same with working out. If there is something that you say you don't like, I used to say that I hated walking. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. I hated to sweat. There are so many things that I have done to curb that. Number one, I bought a walking pad that I actually like. I'll link mine down below if y'all want to see it. Number two, I got some new workout clothes that actually make me feel really good and they fit properly. Number three, I got myself some cute new walking shoes. That really motivates me when I feel like I look good when I'm doing the activity, even if it's just for me and I don't leave the house in the outfit because I've been doing a lot of at-home walking. That's fine. Like, it's fine if that's what you need to do for yourself. I will make my favorite drink. I'll make a matcha latte or a coffee, and I'll get like a thing of water. I have, usually I'll turn my TV on and put like my favorite podcast on or my favorite vlogger on. Or sometimes if I really need to get a walk in and I know that I don't really feel motivated to do it, I will put my PlayStation in the room where my walking pad is. And I will play Dead by Daylight and walk, because 3 rounds of Dead by Daylight, if it's a good round, you're already taking an hour. Like, that's an hour of walking that you wouldn't have previously done. So like, make the activity joyful however you can. And eventually, because you get all those happy chemicals from doing the workout, you might find that you start to enjoy it a little bit. That's what happened to me with walking. I used to hate walking. I hated sweating. I have made it such a joyful activity that I actually kind of look forward to the time that I spend walking. And I also just have to say, there is something, and I've talked about it on my Instagram stories a few times now. There is something about at the end of an hour long, like fast paced walk where I'm drenched in sweat. Okay. I'm a sweaty girl. I already told you that. I am drenched in sweat. Like the outer thighs are sweating, the stomach area is sweating. I didn't even know that I could sweat there. There is something about getting to the end of that and feeling this like super high. Oh my gosh, I feel so elated. Not only did I push myself to do this really hard thing that like really makes my body have to push for it, but also I feel so accomplished because I did it. And that is something that when I have been in my lowest moments, when I can accomplish something that I thought was a little bit hard, it like also builds rapport with yourself. It builds rapport with yourself and you start to trust yourself more when you show up to do it again and again and again. This is what I think the workout people are always talking about when they're like, working out is so good. I'm addicted to working out. It's that. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about seasonal foods, seasonal produce, what I have been doing to get really into cooking healthier meals. And that is number one. I recently read these two books. They're on Kindle Unlimited. One of them is called How to Stop Sabotaging Your Weight Loss, which was a really good read. Whether you want to lose weight or not, this book had good advice for life, and it's on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. And the other book, I can't remember what it's called, but if you're watching the video, I'll put a picture of it in here. I'll also link them down below for you. They're by the same author. Both books really talk about the psychology behind why we sabotage and why we might overeat, why we might eat things that we know aren't always good for us. And it's not about demonizing those foods. It's okay if I want to have a piece of cake. It's okay if I want to have some chocolate. It's okay if I want to enjoy the things that I enjoy. The problem comes in when we are using these things as a coping mechanism, where at one time in our life, we didn't feel safe and we might have used food to self-soothe. Okay. This is definitely my problem, even though I believe that I have recovered from binge eating, which I have talked about with y'all before. I used to binge eat for damn near a decade. I don't binge eat anymore, and I haven't for a long time. But I still sometimes will struggle with using food as a coping tool and a self-soothing tool. This book really blasted my mind open with why I do that and making me really question how I can meet my needs in those moments without using food to soothe myself. My number one trigger, believe it or not, and some of y'all might relate to this, is when I sit down to play games with my friends. That is my like, I don't want to say it's guilty because there's nothing guilty about it, but that is my like, I want to sit here and relax and have a good time with my friends. And how can I amplify this moment? Usually it is by adding food. It is by adding my little gamer snacks. You know what I mean? It's by adding chocolate and candy and cookies and soda and things that I know do not benefit me long term. I'm not trying to demonize these things. I think having a soda every once in a while is fine. I think having your favorite chocolate every once in a while is fine. It's that every single night for a good while there, I was like, I need to go to the grocery store and basically pick out snacks for my gaming session that night. And it would be half a bag of chips, a chocolate bar, and like a third of a container of like whatever kind of gummy snack I wanted, plus some kind of diet soda, which I don't really demonize diet soda, but it would always be like that every single night, 3 different snacks plus this other thing. And even if I wasn't finishing all of those things in one sitting and I wasn't binge eating, it was still just like eating when I wasn't hungry, eating to put stuff into my body just for the sake of self-soothing. Even if I had just had dinner and I was not hungry, I would just like want to consume. So basically, what I came to find is there are other ways of self-soothing. And something that I introduced myself to through reading these books was, what if I could just allow myself to enjoy time with my friends online, and let that be the treat. Let that be the like soothing balm that I'm looking for. What if I could just challenge myself to enjoy this moment, to enjoy this conversation, to enjoy these people? And what if I didn't need an extra thing? And I'm not going to lie to you, this is still not the easiest thing for me. What happens is, and I think where a lot of people will get uncomfortable, myself included, is the trigger's going to come up. The trigger is going to come up where you feel like you need more. And in my case, the trigger comes up every time. And it's like, hey, you want to go to the kitchen and get something. Hey, now is the time to capitalize on this and like have your special treat while you're doing this. And instead of allowing myself that, I might have a single piece of chocolate, right? A single, like my newest obsession has been Ferrero Rocher chocolate. I'll have like one of those and then I'll have some fruit. Or I also have really been loving protein shakes mixed with diet root beer. It's like a root beer float, but it's like high protein. Like a vanilla protein shake mixed with half protein shake, half root beer, diet root beer. Oh my gosh, it hits like a root beer float and it's so good. It's also good with orange soda. But I'll do something like that that is going to be a little bit more in alignment with my health goals, but I'm still allowing myself to treat myself. It's just not in the same way. And that's like if I can't get myself to just enjoy the experience. I will be like, okay, if I really feel like I want to have something, what is a healthier option? And that's kind of how I've been dealing with the trigger right now. And there are times where I have been able to just enjoy the experience, where I have been able to just sit with my friends and be like, wow, this is so nice. But there are times where I'm like, nah, I really feel like I want to eat something, but I will make a better choice. I will make a more conscious choice. And I think eventually I will get to a place where I will be able to just enjoy the experience and like this thing will not control me. But I'm still very much working through it. And I want to be transparent and authentic about that I'm not perfect. Like this is something I'm still working through right now. And I feel like on this podcast, that's really what I like to do is share my experience with you, even if it's something I haven't solved or figured out yet. So I'm still very much dealing with this right now, but I'm doing my best. And I feel like my mindset is different than it was even 3 weeks ago. So check out those books if you're interested in that. But like, that's something that I feel like has really helped me is just shifting my mindset to allowing myself to make change and or like changing my mindset and like questioning why I need this thing to self-soothe, even if I'm not in the environment that I grew up in and I don't need to turn to food anymore to soothe because I didn't have parents that were emotionally capable or intelligent enough to model emotional regulation to me, right? That's really where it all stems from is I grew up in a very chaotic environment where I had a very emotionally unavailable mother and a very emotionally kind of frightening father. And in that situation, though I understand where my parents came from and I understand like why they might have developed to be that way, I still didn't deserve that. And as an adult, I'm the one that has to reparent those things with myself. And unfortunately, growing up, food was a really big coping tool for me. So that's where I like know where it stems from, but I have to be the person that is the loving parent that says, hey, but we can do it a different way. This tool might have helped you at one time. And I'm so glad that I had food when I didn't have anything else. But now I have myself. I have a supportive group of friends, a supportive members of my family. You know, I have that support that I didn't have before. And so I can choose to make new choices from that new place. Anyways, I hope that helps somebody. So the other thing I wanted to talk about in terms of nourishing yourself is I love a good seasonal, okay? And this is just like inspo for you. I know that some of you might be in a different season right now because it depends on the hemisphere that you live in. But for me, summer food, I mean, I love food for every season. I would say summer and fall are probably my two favorites for food, but summer is just that queen, okay? Summer, we're talking cucumbers. We're talking watermelon. We're talking tomato season is coming in July. It's cherry season. It's peach season right now. Corn is really abundant right now. I am just going to say it, okay? I'm just going to say it. My father from Iowa, okay? I have never lived in Iowa a day in my life. I was born and raised in California, but you can take my father and my ancestors out of the cornfields, but you can't take the like descendants out of the cornfields, okay? I love corn. Big fan of corn, big fan of fresh produce. I grew up where my dad did a lot of the cooking for me, and he would be like cutting vegetables up and he would be feeding me raw vegetables with a little salt. Like that is to this day probably one of my like most comforting things is I will be the queen that will just like hack off a slice of cabbage from a big cabbage, put a tiny bit of salt on it and just eat it raw. Like that sounds so good. I could eat that right now. Same with tomatoes. I will just like slice them up, quarter them, and eat them with a little salt. I also like salt on my watermelon. My dad is really into salt on everything. He a little crazy though. Like he'll salt his apples, which I'm not into, and he'll salt his top ramen. Like that is too much. Top ramen does not need salt. Okay, okay, that's a little too crazy for me. But I love a good summer dish. I love a good cold salad. I love a good cold tofu. I love doing like marinated eggs where you soft boil them, peel them, and then you put them in like an Asian styled marinade and then you just keep them in the fridge and take them out as needed. I love a cucumber salad. I love a watermelon salad. I love like the recipes completely endless. Okay. If you stay till the end of the episode, I'm going to share my like favorite recipe I've been loving right now. But I am big on summer foods because I love to just be able to open my fridge and grab things. And so, what I would say to you, if you're trying to incorporate more of this into your diet, the biggest thing as a holistic nutritionist myself, okay, this is like one of my biggest tips. I have two for you. Number one, you need to make things easily noticeable to your eyes because we are all judging the books by their covers. Do not lie to me, okay? When you open your fridge, imagine your fridge is a book. When you open your fridge, you need to be able to see front and center what is easy, what is colorful, okay? Glass containers or like clear containers, clear bags, whatever you need to use, clear. And you need to stack your fridge so at eye level, all of the things that are fresh and nutritious to you need to be at eye level. Don't be putting your cheese at eye level. That goes into a drawer in the crisper. Do not use your crisper as a place for your vegetables. I know that sounds insane, but especially if you have ADHD like I do, I will forget that the vegetables are in the drawer and they will just rot. Use those drawers for meat, cheese, use them for condiments, things that you're not going to need to look at 24/7. Put your fresh foods at eye level in clear containers and also make it easy on yourself by doing the prep work. Bring those ingredients into your house. The day that you bring them home, you want to actually prep them as if you were going to eat them. So this means washing your berries, putting them in a sealed container, cutting up your celery, storing them in water. Same with carrots. Carrots and celery you store in water in like a jar would be ideal. Anything that you would be using that is fresh, cut that watermelon up, store it in a bowl already chopped for yourself. Don't give yourself the ability to be like, I don't really need that, or I don't want that. It's going to be too much work to cut it up. Do that work as soon as you bring it home and make it easy for yourself later. Your later self will thank you, I promise. And secondarily, the other thing that I would do is stop buying things that you don't like. If you don't like kale, stop trying to make yourself eat kale, okay? If you don't like a certain kind of fruit, stop buying the fruit. Stop it. It doesn't matter if kale is healthy for you. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Don't eat it. Don't buy it. Buy the things that you know that you like and incorporate those. And on that same thread, I also think another big tip, bonus tip, is stop focusing on what you can take away from your diet. Focus on what you can add to your diet. This is probably one of, and I don't mean diet like a restrictive way of eating. I mean literally how you eat. Focus on what you can add. So if you're somebody that loves top ramen, let's say, you can have top ramen, but I want you to add a high protein element to it. I want you to add some kind of vegetable to it, maybe a couple of vegetables. Add in some fermented foods if you've got it, a little kimchi, a little sauerkraut on the side. Make it a full meal, because what you're going to find is if you actually gussy up this thing, you're going to end up eating less of it because you're going to get full so much faster on these like high fiber foods and high protein foods that your body needs. But you're going to find that you might even be able to just have half a block next time. Like, it is going to extend your food, keep you fuller longer, and you still get to enjoy the thing that you love while making it more nutritionally dense. I think one of the most common misconceptions that I see out there is people that will cut like rice out of their diet or potatoes out of their diet, that will demonize carbs. And don't get me wrong, I understand everybody's on their own thing. And like, if that low carb, no carb works for you, I'm so happy for you. Not going to work for me. Too restrictive. And I have gone through too many eating disorders in my life to be restrictive. So I have found a better way. And the thing I want to say is like, let's talk about how in society we demonize white rice when the culture that lives the longest, I want to say it is like, I don't know I want to say it's Asian, like it's Asian people. A lot of the blue zones are in Asian countries. It's Asian people. How are you going to tell somebody that one of their main sources of food, which is white rice, is bad and they can't have it in their diet? And then how do you explain their longevity of living? Explain it to me. It's because it doesn't make sense. Like, white rice is fine. Potatoes are fine. I am a holistic nutritionist and I am telling you these things are fine. Obviously, there's going to be some nuance to that. If you have something specific that doesn't allow you to have as much of that, be it some kind of medical diagnosis, have some nuance, no nuance, Nelly. But my point is, like, we don't need to demonize carbs. We don't need to demonize simple carbs. You can have simple carbs. You just need to amp them up with protein and fiber. That is the missing key. You can have the things that you love. You just need to add things that will improve that meal or make it more nutritionally dense to it. So that's like my main thing with nutrition. If you're struggling, stop trying to take the foods that you love away. Even with my snack time in the evening that I'm like struggling with, right? I'm still finding ways to have that piece of chocolate, but with that chocolate, I'm having fruit. With that chocolate, I'm going to have half of a protein shake, right? There are things that I am adding to that are making it more nutritionally dense for me. So that's just like a way that I have found as kind of like a little cheat code to getting your nutrition in. Hello, friends. It is time for me to introduce you to another new segment on the podcast, and that is our Yapper Girl Corner. So the Yapper Girl Corner, you will recognize as like previous intros to my podcast, where we would just sit and yap and talk about things that I liked and talk about current things going on in my life. And I wanted to keep this in the podcast because I think that, like, y'all are my friends. I'm your bestie girl. Like, this is just what we do every week, is sit down and like talk about things and like shoot the ish. And I feel like this is a part of my podcast that professionally I would be told by like modern media that I need to cut this off the podcast, and my podcast should only bring value. And if it's not bringing value to people, what am I doing? And so I want, for the most part, the first chunk of the podcast to be about bringing you value and talking about important topics or giving advice. But Yapper Girl Corner at the end of every episode is where we just sit and yap. And we're still going to have episodes that are dedicated to just yapping for like, just for whatever. But this is like our little cozy segment. So yes, I did just crack a poppy. This is the root beer. Listen. They reformulated the root beer. It's actually good now. I told y'all, I think on a tier list that I made, the root beer was like the bottom of the barrel for me. It tasted like crap. And I feel like if you mess up a root beer, are you even a soda company? They reformulated the root beer and it's actually good now. So we're just going to enjoy a little poppy. And I've got my cozies on. I'm chilling for my day. And I just want to yap at you for a little bit of like, what's the situation? What's happening in my life? So first of all, Yes, I have made a full recovery from breaking my ankle, which I know it seems like a dramatic turnaround because the last episode you saw from me, I was like in bed, couldn't walk, but I filmed so much content that like first week that I broke my ankle. And prior to that week, I filmed, I want to say like almost a month's worth of podcasts. Like I was so scheduled out on content when that happened that it actually was kind of very divinely timed. So now we're caught up. I'm filming this the week before it go like the week before it goes up on the weekend. So now we're in present time. Okay. So, yes, I have made a full recovery. I have been working out and I feel so good, y'all. I told y'all for my birthday, it was like divine intervention. Okay. I bought myself a treadmill that I'm obsessed with. I love her. And I couldn't use it because I'd broken my ankle. It was just sitting collecting dust. And I want to say about 3.5 to 4 weeks after my ankle break, I started doing 20 minutes of walking a day. And then I gradually increased that to 40 minutes. And now I'm up to some days an hour of walking. And I just have to tell y'all, I feel like this actually fits really well into what we were talking about today. Okay, two things. I started to, um, I started using my Apple challenges again. Like if you have an Apple Watch, you know, you can like challenge your friends. That's been really great. I have at least one friend that I feel like really challenges me and we're like on par with each other. So it makes it like very motivational for me. But I started using this app. This is not sponsored, but I started using this app called Step Up because the thing about Apple, and this pisses me off, if y'all have an Apple Watch, you know, they don't let you compete in a group setting where if like back in the day, I don't know if it's still like this, but back in the day, if you had a Fitbit, on a Fitbit, you could compete in a group. And I loved that feature. Okay. I don't know what it is about me and moving my body, but if I have healthy competition, I love it. I've never seen myself as a competitive person until it comes to working out. I feel like I'm not competitive. I don't play sports competitively. I never have. If you put me in front of a board game, I'm not competitive. If you put me in front of a video game, I'm not really competitive either. But I am very competitive when it comes to things like this. So I started using this app and I have to tell y'all, it has been so hard to get people to sign up for this app. Can we just talk about for a second? What is it with, and please comment below if you're this person and you have an answer. Like I genuinely want to hear from you. I'm not like being funny. What is it with today and so many people, if you tell them to join this app that you're into, even if it's free, they just are like, no, I don't want that. Like, girl, it's free. Girl, it's free. If any one of my friends tells me to download something that like keeps me connected to them or closer to them, I'm like, sign me up right now. Give me 10. Like, that's just who I am. I'm not offended in any way, but like so many people in my life, my parents, other close friends, so many people, a couple of my siblings, like did not download this app when I sent it out and was like, "Oh my god, we can all challenge each other." So the app, it's called Step Up, and it basically just tracks using your phone, your Apple Watch, your Fitbit, your Google Watch, whatever you have, it doesn't matter. It tracks how many steps you get throughout your day and you can make individual groups and challenge each other or all of your friends. It's like if you're not friends with another person, you won't see their stuff, but whoever I am friends with, they're all like ranked. I don't know if you can see my screen, but like this is today. We're all like ranked on how many steps we have for the day. I'm currently coming in at number 4. Usually, I would say I come in second or third place most days because my husband, he always gets like 10,000 steps a day. He's crazy. But I get probably like 6 to 8,000 a day on most days. And I would say I come in second place most of the time. But I love this app. I love this app so much. I feel like the more people you have, the better it is. And I feel like actually motivated and challenged. You can like taunt each other on the app, you can praise each other, you can also message within the app. I was honestly thinking, I don't know if it shares sensitive information, so I haven't been like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. You can make individual groups, and I was thinking about doing one like for the cozy babes, like maybe we could have a group where we all challenge each other with steps, but I need to look into it further. I'll let you know in the future if it's a thing that we do. But this has been so good for me, getting back into walking and feeling like I'm challenged by other people in my life. Like literally today, right now, my sister, who is such a hoe, I love her, which I can say that because she's my sister. She said, she's friends with my husband on here. And she's like, why is your husband always winning? Tell him to stop that. Because when he works, he gets like 10,000 steps at work. And she said, I told him to stop jacking off with his watch on. Like, this is the kind of shenanigans we get up to in here. And it's just really fun. And like I said, I feel like it's such a good way to get like healthy competition. And like, girl, I have been in my workout era, okay? I have been getting a bunch of steps a day. My ankle feels 100% again. And like, I feel like I finally get it for the first time in my life. I finally get it why the people that love to work out. I get why, like, I used to be that person, and I said it earlier in the episode that I did not consent to sweat. I feel like when I am dressed to sweat and I know that I'm going to be sweating, I'm fine with it. And honestly, when I sweat, I feel like I'm like, damn, I know I worked hard for that. And on my walking pad, I would say I go at like a pace of like 2.3 most of the time, which I would say is like pretty fast paced walking. Within 20 minutes, I'm dripping. I'm a sweaty girl. I'm drenched in sweat. And I'll go for like sometimes a full hour is usually my goal. I'll go for like the full hour, and afterwards, I just feel so good. I feel so cleansed. I feel so happy. I'm so grateful that I'm walking again. Like, I am really in my fit girl era. And I have already noticed within the first 2 weeks, I have already noticed how much better my walking stamina has gotten. Like when I first started walking, I would do 20 minutes at like maybe a pace of 1.5, which is not bad, but 20 minutes would kill me. I would be like, I want to die. Like, this, not literally, but like, I'd be like, this is awful. I hate this. Now I hit like 40 minutes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing. And I'm like giving myself positive affirmation while I'm on my walking pad. And I'm just like, this feels so good. And I think I finally get it. I finally get what the workout girlies were talking about. I understand now. I understand the mental connection, like the brain waves. My mental chemistry has changed. My brain chemistry, she's different now. Something else that's been going on that's new in my life is, listen, y'all, you know that I don't like to use my podcast to get political. I feel like this is like the safe haven. This is where, if you feel like you're stressed out from these things, I want you to always be able to come to my podcast and just like take a load off, you know? But something I want to say, and this is not me giving political opinions of any kind. I always tell y'all that my political opinions are for my close friends and family and my community. They are not for the internet. And even though I know that when I say that, like, I know that there are people that listen to this podcast that are probably going to disagree with what my stance is. I do hope sometimes, though, that through my content, I give off the vibes that I want to give off. Like, I do feel like at the end of the day, like, I know where I stand and that's what's important to me. It doesn't matter what the internet thinks, or what like my online community thinks, because that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to like educate on politics or be a political activist. That's just not where I feel called. I would rather give people that are doing that reprieve. But something I want to say is that the past few weeks have been a little bit hard, and I have been really stressed out. My husband is 100% Mexican, and he is legally here. He is several generations down from a legal immigrant. Whether that matters or not, that's not what I'm trying to talk about. My point is that I've been stressed out because there's just been so much chaos that has been going against that community. And I feel like I've been very scared, very afraid. I don't really understand what is happening in the world or why things are happening the way that they are. And this isn't me asking for opinions on that. The thing I want to say to those of you that are also stressed out, like I literally woke up this morning at like 4:45 sweating, almost panicking because I have been so stressed out by the political state of things, by the news, by things that are just, I feel like I've been too in the sauce lately. But something that I feel like I have been doing that has been helpful for me is this month, my husband, myself, and my best friend started a banned books club where the three of us are just starting to read books that are on like the national ban list. And we're just accruing those books slowly over time, like physical copies, because with the state of things, you just really don't know. You really don't know. And I don't want to be the person that we like lose knowledge and don't have it, you know? And I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to say that I have any kind of intel on that's what's happening. But this is like my one small rebellion that I feel like I have right now that makes me feel like grounded. And I also feel like I'm like educating myself in the process. And this month, we are reading Fahrenheit 451. I have never actually read this book. There are actually a lot of classics that I have never read. I have never read To Kill a Mockingbird. I have never read Animal Farm. I've never read 1984. I've never read. There's more. There's so many more that I'm like, I'm blanking on right now. But like, there are so many that I have never read that I'm just like, oh, I want to read those. Like, I'm curious. I feel like a younger version of me didn't really care, but I care now. And so, yeah, I started with me and my closest friend. We're doing a banned books little book club between the three of us. We're starting with Fahrenheit 451. And I am honestly excited. I feel like it's going to be good for me to just read something that is outside of the norm for me, which I always tend to read self-help or fantasy of some kind or like smut and self-help are my like two main things. And I feel like it's going to be good for me to just step outside the box and read some things that might change my mind. Like I remember in school, one of the books that I read that I loved was The Crucible. I loved The Crucible. I was so like it as somebody who grew up really, really religious, I felt like this was like a book that changed my opinion on things and it like opened my mind. I had such a good English teacher at the time that like allowed that kind of exploration internally. And it was funny too, because my teacher, when we read it at that time, she was somebody that was a member of my church. Like, this was somebody that I like went to church with that was my teacher. And she also taught at the high school, which was not affiliated with the church at all. And it was just like really interesting to have this person open my mind in such a way, but was also part of what I would consider a really close minded religion. So just really interesting. But yeah, I feel like, you know, I read of Mice and Men in school, which also was really thought provoking, Flowers for Algernon. Like, I think those are all banned book list books as well. And I just feel like, you know, knowledge to me has always been power, and it's something that nobody can take away from you. And so, yeah, we're doing like a little band book club and it's a good time. And I'm hoping that I will have my mind rocked in a positive way, but we'll see what happens. I'll update you on that in the future. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that I understand that everybody is in a different financial situation right now. The only reason I was able to do it is because I did it on a pay in four and I needed it desperately. Desperately. Not that I think that needs to like make it okay, but like I am definitely at a point in my life right now where I'm having to choose which bills get paid and which ones are getting staggered. And I just want to be so transparent about that. I feel like I've lived this way for a lot of my adult life. I've had very few points of reprieve where I feel like I haven't had to make those hard choices. And one day I will find my way out of it and things will be easier, but I'm still figuring it out. Human. I'm human. And I feel like I have a hard time expressing like this is what I'm experiencing and like telling you all these things and then being like, "Oh, I just bought a bunch of clothes." Like I needed these things desperately. A lot of my clothes didn't fit anymore. My shoes were worn out. Like I needed it desperately. So, I actually recently I bought into it and then canceled it immediately because that's if y'all ever wanted to know about that, you can sign up for Fabletics, get all of the clothes at a discount, and then cancel your membership before it ever happens. Um, if you wanted to know that, now you know. Don't get me wrong, I love Fabletics clothes. If I was in a position to keep it, I totally would. I'm just not right now. And I bought like 5 or 6 new outfits because they had an 80% off sale. And I got some new walking shoes as well. And I just have to tell you, never underestimate the power of what a new outfit can do for you. I feel like because I have the right clothes, the right gear, and the walking pad and everything, I feel like I am just so geared towards success with my physical activity right now. Like, never underestimate the power of a new workout set. I also used to tell myself that, like, I wouldn't be able to find things in my size because I have a really, really large chest. Like someday if I've considered like getting a reduction. Like I have a very large chest and I feel like it is hard for me to find workout tops, bras, things that actually would fit me correctly. And Fabletics, their workout bras, not sponsored in any way, 10 out of 10. I really love even their low impact bras as well as their medium impact. I think they are solid gold. So I got like a bunch of new matching sets from them and I'm just feeling so good. Like every day I look forward to putting my workout clothes on and getting a really good sweat in. And I feel like I used to really underestimate the power of just like it feels different when you are working out in a big t-shirt and some shorts versus something cute that matches that makes you feel snatched and like cute new shoes. Like it makes such a difference. I look forward to getting dressed up for my workout and it feels like it just feels really good. I also feel like in a weird way it has impacted my like ability to do laundry. Like I this is going to sound so weird, but like I don't know, man. This is how my brain works. I feel like when I have clothes that I want to wear, I will also do the laundry. Like, if I am not motivated to do that laundry, I will not do it until I am out of clothes. Because I have been wearing all my cute new sets, I have been doing laundry like every other day because I need clothes. Like, those outfits, I don't even have one for every single day of the week. But I feel like it has motivated me in new ways that I didn't even know I needed motivating. So that's what's been going on in my neck of the woods. That's what's been up with me. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did and you want to see more like this, please make sure you check out the Patreon. That's where I have more personalized content. We still do pick a cards over there. We still do an astrology and tarot report. I do vlogging over there, which I have been just like dying to get back into vlogging. I feel like the problem is with like vlogging, I love to do it. I love to have the record as well because I watch my own vlogs back all the time. And I'm like, dang, look at what I was doing 4 years ago. But I feel like I always want like my house to be clean and I want my spouse not to be home. And those things very rarely coincide with a day that I'm not just like working a bunch. So I need to just like make the time or decide to bring you along my workday. But I do vlog on there. There are vlogs on the Patreon. I'm fixing to try to get some more because I miss it. And the Patreon is really what supports the making of this show. Like this, if you're watching this on YouTube and not Spotify or like anywhere else, my YouTube channel isn't even monetized yet. Like we're almost there. We're very close. But I make like no money on my podcast. So like this show is fully funded by Patreon. And if you want to support the making of it, you want to see more like this, you want more podcasts for me to keep them coming, please, if you are able to, and you have a little extra to send my way, I would love if you would support me over on Patreon. So I also have my other YouTube channel, which is a tarot card reading channel. Mainly I focus on pick a cards there. It's always linked down below for you. And my website where I have courses, one-on-one private readings where you can also submit Ask Chloe's if you have a topic you really want me to discuss and dive more into. You can write me there. Just leave your name as something that would be more anonymous. You don't have to use your real name if you don't want it used. And follow me everywhere around the web. I'm at Chloe Taylor on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. We also have the Cozy Babes Club Instagram page that currently I don't really use, but you never know, might eventually. And lastly, we have our Discord community, which is the Cozy Babes Club. Link for that down below. It's basically just like a big chat where we have multiple topics and a bunch of things that we share with each other. So definitely check that out if you are interested and you want to talk with some like-minded people on some of the things that maybe we were talking about today. I will say our Discord is a politics-free place though. So if you come in there talking about politics, you're probably going to get banned. Again, I like to keep my content more on the rung of being a reprieve from all of that because that's also valuable. We need that too. Like we need that too. I myself look for that online. I need reprieve. You need reprieve. Like, yeah. Anyways, that is what we have for this episode. Oh my gosh. I'm such a silly goose. I've told you I was going to share my favorite recipe with you. So recently, this will be our last thing. Recently, I got this cookbook. I will link it down below for you. And I'll show it on screen if you're watching. And I love the creator who did this. It's Nutrition by Kale, I think is what she goes by online. She is so phenomenal. I have never tried a recipe of hers that I didn't like. She has this like honey sriracha tofu bowl that like, girl, I'm about to eat it for a third night in a row. It's so good. You do rice, shredded carrots, sliced cucumber, sliced avocado. That's like the main base. Then you take firm tofu, cut it up one block, cut it up into 32 pieces, and then you cover it in cornstarch. Lightly fry the tofu, just like in whatever oil you want to use. I would recommend avocado oil personally, but do what you got to do. Fry it in a little bit of oil, and then you make a sauce that's basically a soy sauce base. You put a little bit of rice vinegar in it, a little bit of honey, and sriracha. That's literally it. You take the oil out of the pan, take the tofu out of the pan and like put it on a paper towel to get some of the grease off, put everything back in the pan, including sauce, and then like cook the sauce down a little bit. Oh my goddess. I am not vegan anymore and I haven't been for years, but like this has been such a nice return to the time period that I was. And it just like, you will never make tofu a different way. It will change your life. I'm just saying, like, if you feel like you don't like tofu, it's because, and I will die on this hill, okay? It is because you do not know how to prepare it correctly. Like, when you do it right, it is so, so, so good. And this recipe is delicious. I don't have measurements for anything because even her recipe I deviate from. Like, I don't listen to her measurements on the sauce. I just mix up however much I think. And it was just like, oh, it's my favorite recipe right now. It's my all-time favorite recipe right now. It is so good. Literally, I'm going to eat it again tonight. Oh, you also could sprinkle like some furikake and some green onions on top. Ugh. Best. And it like includes that like fresh avocado, fresh carrots, fresh cucumber. So you're getting a lot of that like summer fresh feel and you're having it with like a hot element and then a little bit of carbs. It's just like, oh, so good. It's my favorite right now. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sticking around. I love you so much. Let me know what you think of this new podcast format if you're into it, and write me on the Ask Chloe section on the website if you want to be featured in a future episode. And I will talk to you in the next one. Do not forget to follow your plan and not your mood.